All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, wrapping up the month of January. And looks like we're at about 250 wines for this month, so I don't want to say an average month, but a pretty good month to start the year out. And Small Vines were in to see us, and these guys have got producers that are smaller, and usually they're pretty good wines. So I'll tell you what, man, the Slovenian producer these guys brought me just outstanding. And this Soave producer, MonteTondo, also very good wines. Hey, the sparkling, it's just not my bag. Charmat method sparkling wines. I mean, there's only 5 producers of sparkling wine, Gargannega sparkling wine and Soave, and it's naturally fermented Charmat. The wine's not bad, but you know, for the money, you can certainly find method champenoise stuff for this price from California, and it's nice and refreshing. And it's a small family business. They have 25 hectares of vineyards. They don't purchase any fruit, so you have to respect what they're doing here. But like I said, just not my bag of tea. Sparkling Charmat method wine from anywhere. MonteTondo Soave Classico. Now you have my attention. One of the greatest values in the world of white wines, Italian whites, very unique. Just like this one, 100% Gargannega, Calcura soils, a single cru wine, and really nice intensity on the nose, some ripe mango, granite mineral notes, nice complexity for a $15 wine. It's amazing the nuance this wine has, and nice richness on the palate, tree fruits, that granite-like minerality showing, a little flinty notes and light creamy texture on the palate, a little bit of spice here, very expressive, very good stuff for $15.75. Wow. All right, and then the Foscarin, which this is 100% Trebbiano de Soave, and I'm sorry, there's 10% Trebbiano de Soave in the blend here. They purchased this vineyard 35 years ago, volcanic soils, and very low yields, 8,000 kilograms per hectare, as opposed to, like, say, their regular Soave, which would be 14,000. So considerably less, almost half, and that's what you have to do to make great wine. Lower the yields considerably, and this wine's fermented in stainless steel, and then sees a little bit of new barrique, but wow, man, incredible concentration and richness in this wine. That flinty, minerally note that you get in the other wine, but more pronounced. Delicious peach, a note of honey and orange blossom here. Really smooth and creamy on the tongue. That whetstone, flinty, minerally note at the end, and a firm hand of acidity. You could age this wine for 5-10 years, and hey, what do you know? They just happened to bring a 2009 vintage of this wine, and not available for sale. But, man, this wine had an incredible bouquet. You really noticed it in the color. It was a few years older, and it had this wonderful honeyed character to the nose. That ripe peach and apricot fruit, really ripe and succulent, texture of whole milk, and still had wonderful acidity, that honeyed character through the finish. Really exotic, most excellent juice, man. Wow. For $26.75, you can set this wine aside for, 5 years easily, and it turns into this. What a great little value. All right, the MonteTondo Valpolicella. It could be called Superior, but because it's a $15 wine, they felt like calling it Superior would mislead people, and maybe they think the wine is better than it is. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but anyways, Valpolicella is an entry-level wine, and this is a blend of all 3 of the major varietals that they grow here, mostly Corvina, which is the most important, Rondinella, and Molinara, which a lot of people have taken out of their wines today. It's not considered a very high-quality grape. And they dry the grapes for this wine for 22 days, which is unique. Most Valpolicella, they don't dry. They do make a Ripasso wine, which they pass over the pomace of the Amarone, which goes through a secondary fermentation. So one of the only wines that goes through a secondary fermentation other than Champagne, Valpolicella. But this is not made in that style. So it's kind of in between, a lighter style of Valpolicella and a Ripasso. But really nice nose here. Beautiful red cherry fruit, fresh rose petals, violet flowers. A little of that Play-Doh, like clay minerality you get from this area. Some fresh rose petal. Really nice on the palate. This one's got some juicy fruit, silky tannins, and a little bit of structure. This is a wine you probably want to drink on the young side, but on the second day, still very good. A little bit of a raw meat kind of character coming out. Excellent juice for $15. What a great little value. All right, and then the Podere Ciona, a Montegrossoli IGT, and this is some of the highest elevation vineyards in Chianti. And this is not from the same producer. This producer could not make their flight from the Northeast, why you would plan to travel this time of year, Chicago, New York, or anything like that is beyond me. But anyways, also part of Small Vines, and very high elevation vineyard in Chianti. These wines very fresh near Yale and Chianti, and this wine's an IGT, so doesn't have 85% Sangiovese. By law, that's what you have to call a Chianti. This is 75%, 20% Alicante Bouchet, 5% Merlot. Good amount of rustic herbs and red berry fruits and fresh plowed earth notes. Really bright and fresh on the palate. That red berry fruit, a little licorice spice, and those pretty floral notes coming through on the finish. A very good little wine at $16.50. You can find a lot of great little values in Italy, man. Especially if you like lighter reds, serve slightly chilled in the daytime. All right, the next up was a Chianti Classico Riserva, and this one's got a little Merlot, Alicante Bouchet, and Alicante Bouchet and the Sangiovese. Really well-endowed nose, some wild flowers, a little minty and sage and wild strawberry cherry fruit, some exotic spices, red licorice. This wine, really nice richness and concentration on the palate. Some tannins here coming in, little chalky notes at the end, those floral and spice notes showing, but nice freshness and nice fruit here. This 2010 vintage is an amazing vintage for Chianti. This wine will age a decade or more in your cellar. Excellent juice at $33.75. And then the 90% Merlot-based wine, the Podere Ciona Diacce. Like I said, I probably murdered that one. But 9% Merlot, 10% Alicante Bouchet, and it's got a really well-endowed bouquet here. Dark earth, black truffle, kind of dark berry and plum fruit, tobacco spice. A really big and chewy wine. You know, Merlot, not taken seriously in lots of parts of the world, but when you make a great Merlot, it's got richness on the palate, really, that is unparalleled. And this Alicante Bouchet, maybe adding a little extra tannin to the backbone, a little bitter cocoa, and espresso notes on the finish, but an excellent bottle of wine. Really great little Merlot at $33.75. All right, and then the MonteTondo, back to MonteTondo. They're Amarones. Amarone's a finishing wine. You don't ever show it, you know, before Sangiovese especially, so they broke them up to keep the Sangiovese wouldn't taste like much after these big, chewy Amarones. This wine's just Corvina and Rondinella. The 2010 we tried first, which is not released yet. The 08's what they have in the market, and 10 was the year they made Amarone de Valpolicella a DOCG. How you could call Valpolicella and Amarone both DOCs are beyond me, but the Italian wine labeling laws are a little beguiling to begin with. So just recently they made my favorite wine in Italy a DOCG wine. So technically a level up from Valpolicella. This wine's got a lovely bouquet though. Licorice spice, menthol, black pepper, it's aged in large oak casks, wonderful intensity. You get a little bit of that clay-like minerality in this wine. Lovely juicy fruit and really long finish. You know, these wines, because the grapes are dried, the tannins are a lot softer, and you can drink Amarone at a younger age. You know, very good. The 2008, a little more evolved, a little more drinkable, but very similar. Really exotic bouquet. A lot of those same qualities. Tart red cherry fruit and nice smooth finish. Excellent juice. I like the 2010 a little better, but the 8 definitely showing better right now. That's what we had to drink with our friends from Small Vines. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.